Good morning, everybody, and how are we doing on this fine day? I just found out that one of my friends is a, quote, certified pound cake enjoyer. How's your afternoon going? Anyway, hello, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Saoyhr, and I am a very amateur content creator here on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and whatever other social medias that your little pea-brain can think of. I make Legend of Zelda content, and I do some live streams every now and again on YouTube and TikTok and whatever the hell else. I went live on my personal account today, planting potatoes with my grandfather. And it's okay. I privated it. No one's ever going to see it again. We're planting beans and corn on Monday and Tuesday, and I may go live for that. Who knows? But anyway, I will be going live again on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard with some Pokemon Pokopia. I've only played this game a grand total of 2 times in my 2 previous streams, and this will be the 3rd time, you guessed it, that I've ever played the game. And I have not done much. I have not done shit. I have done a little bit. I've done some of the Pokemon requests. There's still a bunch to be done, and I need help and I need assistance, so please drop by the stream on Monday. Please! I didn't mean to scare you. Please don't leave. Please don't leave. I'm here to talk to you about Legend of Zelda. But before we get into that, if you enjoyed today's video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel. I'm a very small creator, and I'm striving to produce original content and do original theories and predictions and stuff like that. So if you enjoyed today's video, please subscribe to the channel. Please drop a like. Please drop a comment. What's your favorite Legend of Zelda game? What are you looking forward to for the 40th anniversary? Because that's what we're going to be talking about today. The 40th anniversary of the Legend of Zelda franchise that everybody on the internet, Legend of Zelda wise, is focused on at the time being. The 40th anniversary of the Legend of Zelda franchise has a lot of people absolutely consumed with anticipation as well as excitement. This is illustrated by the many people flocking to online forums and other social media platforms like Reddit to discuss their hopes and dreams and wishes for the anniversary, as well as all the clickbait headlines from gaming articles claiming that the remake of Ocarina of Time has been revealed by Nintendo when it's just a fan-made remake for the PC, ranging from a complete remake of Ocarina of Time to a bundled version of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess that's been remastered for the Switch console family. There are a range of ideas floating around the internet that many people favor for different reasons. What their favorite Zelda game was as a child, if they're particular to a certain genre of game outside of the franchise, and many other variables that I won't get into for the sake of time. But what sent many fans into a rage is that Nintendo seems to have actually missed the 40th anniversary date, and whatever they had planned, if anything, has presumably been delayed for an unspecified reason. They're game developers working for a large corporation, so it's not like they owe us any answers. However, there's always room for us to speculate on our own. If we choose to analyze game development from the perspective of a business, like any other process or project within the business, efficiency can make or break your bottom line when it comes to getting a game developed and shipped. If games don't run smooth and need later patches, it can lead to poor game reviews and poor perception of the company for not being able to ship a game that's playable and enjoyable for their consumers. For one example, I'm not a game developer at all, but from my knowledge, games will typically, like any game, will just run on an engine of some sort, and Nintendo uses proprietary in-house game engines that are tailored to their specific hardware, which means they make their own. They do make use of commercial engines like Unreal and all that stuff, but they develop their own games and they develop their own game engines. That's just what Nintendo has always done. But anyway, if a game engine is only capable of so much, there are thus limits set that dictate how much detail or complex code you can then add to a game. This could prevent a game from being all that it could be without breaking the code in some way for the player and causing bugs and crashes if we're to exceed these limits. While this is in no way trying to sympathize with big corporations and simply trying to understand how they go about projects better, developers and their teams learn as they create, and myself as well as others have noticed a certain trend with Nintendo recently that could hint towards an eventual Ocarina of Time remake. Hinting back on the business stuff, businesses love efficiency because if you're efficient with your business, you don't have to spend money. And if you don't have to spend money, you're making more profits. Over the past few years, Nintendo seems to have slowly dipped their toes into the remaking, remastering, and the enhancing of previous console releases for the current console generation. Bringing back fan favorites has proved successful time and time again for Nintendo, so there wouldn't be a reason for them to stop it now. At first, I was a little skeptical of a complete remaster or remake of Ocarina of Time because of the amount of effort that would take, but then I saw an article about Star Fox. Nintendo was releasing a, quote, cinematic reimagining of Star Fox 64 with orchestral music and enhanced visuals per Nintendo's website. Nintendo hasn't fully remade an N64 game like this for the Switch until now. Sure, we've had 3D All-Stars, but that also includes 2 of the Wii games, but they're enhanced versions of the original ports that are just optimized for the Switch. Star Fox by the trailer, seems to have been built, at least visually, completely from the ground up, using new, modern assets. This is what gives me hope for an eventual Ocarina of Time remake. Nintendo seems to just be showing us what they're capable of, and probably establishing groundwork for the remaking of N64 games for this generation of consoles. There's a lot of work that goes into stuff like this, and development teams typically plan stuff out months or if not years in advance while keeping efficiency in mind, which is why I feel like the Star Fox remake is such an optimistic sign that Nintendo is working on something behind the scenes. I think that this can further be supported by Donkey Kong 64 being added to the N64 Nintendo Switch Online emulator as of June 4th of this year. While this isn't a complete remake, it's another great example of Nintendo enhancing and porting an N64 game for their current gen console. It also shows us that Nintendo is, at least partially, focused on the N64 era of games when it comes to their recent releases and plans. Another thing that I saw people talking about a little further back was a Twilight Princess and Wind Waker bundle, but I see this as the less likely of the two. Wind Waker has already been ported to the Switch 2's NSO GameCube emulator thing. I don't even know what to call these things anymore, so I'm sorry if like me calling them that is all over the place. It's the emulator apps that you get by subscribing to Nintendo's online service or whatever. Wind Waker has already been ported to it, so I would find it more plausible that we would either get a definitive version of Twilight Princess, which I came up with. It uses a similar naming convention of the original Hyrule Warrior series, as it was released on the Wii U as Hyrule Warriors, the 3DS as Hyrule Warriors Legends, and then finally the Switch port bearing the name Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. This would be the second port of Twilight Princess, excluding the original release on the GameCube and Wii, so it would make sense to call it a definitive edition with upgraded graphics, controls, animations, to name a few tame examples if they're wanting to do a remake of Twilight Princess at some point down the line. And the only reason that I would assume this over the bundle or like anything else is that while a remake or a remaster of Wind Waker would be cool, I highly doubt that Nintendo will pursue this as a project anytime soon due to it being released on the GameCube emulator. Nintendo also could have just as easily put the GameCube version of Twilight Princess on the same emulator to boost Switch 2 sales, because a lot of people really want to play Twilight Princess on a Switch for some reason. But Nintendo didn't, and this choice seems to be intentional. Why wouldn't Nintendo put one of the most requested Legend of Zelda games for the Switch on its native console's emulator? It's because they want to charge even more for the game individually rather than lock you into subscriptions of games that you'll never technically own. I don't say this to say that they'll never add the GameCube version to the GC NSO app, but if they do, it would be after they release a definitive or remade version of Twilight Princess for the Switch 2 and charge upwards of $60 for it. Thank you, Nintendo, for the great content and the great. Anyways, those were the main two things that I saw on the internet of like people wanting certain things for the 40th anniversary of Legend of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time remake, or a Twilight Princess and Wind Waker bundle. Like I said, I don't think Wind Waker will be bundled with it because the original one is already available on that emulator thing, and I think that a Twilight Princess remaster for the Switch would sell even better. So those are the main, like I said, the main two ones that I saw on the internet. I don't know if I have any personal like wish list items for the 40th anniversary. I just wish that I could get my hands on one of those Master Sword replicas, and I need to order the rest of the Dark Horse books, but I don't think I really necessarily have any like wish list remakes or remasters. For the entire month of June, I've set like a schedule for myself and some goals for myself. I'm trying to live stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, whatever pst is, on YouTube and both TikTok. This upcoming Monday, I'll be screaming a lot. I scream a lot. I'll be streaming Pocopia. I don't think I'll be screaming for that, hopefully. I don't know what I'll be doing. Hopefully I'll be high energy and in a good mood, because if not, I will be bitchy. But anyway, yeah, show up to the stream. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider subscribing, leave a like, leave a comment, maybe hit the notification bell, because then you'll also be notified for my lives too if you select that option. And other than that, I don't think that I really have anything else to talk about for the 40th anniversary of Legend of Zelda, other than I hope that my title clickbaited you, because this is how YouTube works. This is how the economy works. Subscribe to my videos, like my videos, interact with me. I need to build a community. I want to build a community. And once again, my name is Saoyhr. You can find me on any social media that you can think of at Saoyhr. Saoyhr. It's spelled like a Hyrulean. Make fun of me if you want to. I don't care. But yeah, I hope you have a good day. I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you so much for sticking it out to the end, and I hope to catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.